All right, at the face. Hanatu was so confused. She would cry all night, wondering if her husband saw her as furniture or a monster. At work, colleagues and friends would ask why she wasn't pregnant. She would lie that she and her husband agreed to allow some time to get to know each other better. That continued until she ran out of lies to tell. Are you still getting to know each other? After 4 years, people would ask in amazement. She became so tired and decided to run away. Her husband got wind of it and reported to Hanatu's parents. A family meeting was called and the whole scenario was exposed. Hanatu's parents were alarmed that such a thing happened for so long. Their daughter, though married, had never consummated her marriage with her husband. Thank you.
And it's based on the woman and the struggles. And from the prologue that was read, in fact, that place was very like you're married and you're not consummated your marriage for years. So, and Hanatu, her story is very emotional throughout the book, and it makes me wonder: is the book?
The book is hybrid. I think I would say 30% real and 70% fiction. There's some real life stories in it. The aspect of not consummating, wedding for 4 years, and then so what I did was to write stories around that. I discovered that women have some challenges like that in their marriages that a lot of people don't like to talk about. So I built stories around. I would say 70% fiction, 30% real life. But even though it's fiction and even though it's hybrid, I think it's more, for me it's more real. Looking at the story, because when I sat down and imagined Hanatu, I discovered that we have people in our shoes, in those pockets of issues. So I would say it's hybrid. Thank you.
Now, Hanatu, we can say she got married early. After doing well in school, she just wanted to get married, get out of her parents' house. But I want to use this as a point of contact with this particular topic about parents making kids or telling kids to get married early. I mean, especially the ladies. Like when you're done from school, the next thing is go and get married or go to your husband's house. And sometimes, I know they mean well, but sometimes it kind of puts pressure on the ladies. Some of them will just want to get married because their parents said they should get married and they need to have kids. And even, I know people are now starting to talk about it and to say, no, let a woman work, let her be established. But there are still people that they still believe a woman has to get married. But giving Hanatu's story to
Okay, I will say a little about Hanatu and relate it to that question. The culture, the belief that ladies are for the other room, the other room. The other room, and you see, most of the time, they don't want to send ladies to school. Hanatu's case was very peculiar because she was followed immediately by a male child. So she was under a lot of pressure to say, why do you have to go to school? After all, you're going to end up in somebody else's home. You're going to be somebody else's property, in court. And why not allow us to,
So, it's about erectile dysfunction. I'm saying this is a taboo because people don't really talk about this. I mean, we have women saying they go for fertility injections, they go for IVF, but you don't really hear of stories of men coming out to even say, I have erectile dysfunction. It's like a shame, it's like a taboo in the society, like it's not supposed to happen to them. But guess what? It happens to lots of men. And most women, or some women, they cover it up for them. So that's why the people don't really know about it. So, Dr. Lola, how can we remove the stigmatization on erectile dysfunction as well as create awareness?
To also help their children. It's so close to them. Erectile dysfunction would have been something noticed from young age. It's not just going to be when the person is grown. Now, how close are you to your children will help you to know some things, even if they don't want to open up to you. If you're very close to them as a parent, whether father or mother, I don't want to say mothers only, because both father and mother are responsible for their children. And I always say that it is a man that can teach a boy how to be a man. One day, my husband wasn't around, so my son came and said, "Mom, how do I place my manhood in my boxes?" And I was like, "Just put it and wear." Remember I said he ran. But I'm sure if he was discussing with my husband, he won't run. It's something they will both discuss. So I would say that parents need to help their children. If you notice anything that is not normal with a dysfunction, there's nothing wrong in seeking help at a tender age. The issue with culture is the fact that they teach the men or the boys that men don't cry, men don't talk, just bottle it up, keep it up, think of a way to solve it. And then when such men break down, in short, their life is always over most of the time. It's wrong to say that boys don't cry. If you need to cry, cry it out. If you need to speak up. So we also need to help our boys. Let's not make them think, and that thing also affects them when they grow up. That ego that I am justice. And that's why when they have such, rather than even open up to their spouses, they won't. And then they begin to look for ways, to cover it up and try to look for where to push the blame to. So I think how we're going to remove this stigmatization, I think it's for parents to begin to be observant and to help as soon as possible, as soon as they notice. If you're with anything, I tell people no matter how late or tired I am, when I get home, we must talk. 30 minutes. How was the day? What happened? So I think we can start helping our boys before they become men. And we shouldn't give them that notion that men don't cry, men don't talk. You just keep everything and figure it out. No, you don't need to figure it out. There's help if you speak up. Thank you.
Thank you. The character was not happy at the end. So, but what that taught us was, because the main character went through a lot of turbulences, a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of bad things happened to her, and at the end, she overcame all, and she moved on with her life. And sometimes in life, we go through things, and those things, they kind of forge us for good or for bad. For bad in the sense that we get bitter, and we don't know we're transferring it to the next thing, or to the next event. So my question to Dr. is that how does someone move on after going through a series of emotional, physical abuse, even spiritual abuse? How do you move on with life and just like nothing happens to you?
Wow. What I tell myself, or how I'm able to go move on, is to say, it will come and pass. It will come and pass. And I will not be consumed. Before we started, I was talking to her, to Eunice, how I went back for my first master's in microbiology, and I couldn't finish. Not because I didn't pass, but because someone made up his mind that I wouldn't finish. That day when I think my world was coming to an end, I cried. I called my mom to beg this lecturer for me. I did all that. But lo and behold, I couldn't finish. So I went back. But the principle of another person may be shorter. The route that you would take to come out may be different, but you would definitely come out. Once you settle it in your mind that you're going to come out. And then look ahead to say it's bright. That's true. Tomorrow is beautiful. You know, I have people ask me questions. Don't you have problems? You're always smiling. And I tell them, anything I cannot solve, I throw it to him that can solve it. And I move on. That's the truth. Once I know that I cannot solve this, it has become a burden, I just throw it and then I move on. So I tell people, there is no problem. You're not the it simply means there's nothing. It's just, yes, some can be horrible, and that's the truth. Some situations can be life-threatening. If you read the book, you see that Hanatu has to run away at a point in her life. She just has to run out of that marriage. So, if it means to run. Yes. Yoruba will say sometimes you need to run to gather strength and come back and face that situation. So if you need to run. If you need to go into hiding, if you need to go and get strength, if you need support, you just have to look at tomorrow. That tomorrow is bright. So once we settle that tomorrow is good. And that's the truth. I heard a story of someone who had always lived, very poor, and at 64, won whether a contract or inheritance or something. I wouldn't say the amount, but 10%, 8 million, so you can calculate that. 64 years. So it simply means that there's nothing, no matter how long it is, that we can't come out. It's just to settle in our minds that this hard time is going to pass away. Once we have that, you see that you will be calm to even think of possible solutions. And ideas will also drop of, who can I talk to? Who can I reach out to? And then once you settle that in your mind, nature also works in our favor. Once you settle it, because I remember then I wasn't planning to go back to school, I was tired, and all it does is I would love to.
You sing, you're an inspirational coach, you are a serial author, and so many other things I've not mentioned. So how are you're a mother, you're a wife, and you're a staff, you're a boss. It's a long list, so let me take our time calling everything else. But how do you balance all this? Especially with family, especially with even your personal self, and you're a fashionista, by the way. You look good. So how do you balance all this, and how will you encourage people to also go for their dreams and push themselves to the limit?
Thank you. I've heard this question a lot. First and foremost, I always say, know yourself and know why you're on earth. That's very important. You need to know why you're on earth, and you need to know yourself. When I say know yourself, I mean know everything about yourself, know your shape, know your limits, know your strengths, know what you're good at, know practically everything. And it's not just one, it's continuous. Because as a girl, what you will know will be different from what you know as a young adult. It will be different from what you know as a wife. It will be different from what you know when you start having, getting pregnant. You start seeing some, behaviors, characters. But what is very important is you need to settle while you're on earth. For me, right from when I was young, I'd always said I want to help people. That has been my underlying factor. So when you see me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a medical doctor. Why? I want to help people. That's what I used to tell people. I want to help people. You know, because I thought, okay, being a medical doctor is not about helping people. But as I grew up, I discovered that, okay, you don't have to be a medical doctor to help people. You know, and I just saw that, oh, I have this strength that I could do. I have that strength that I could use to help people. So what I do is, when it is time to take a break, I take a break. that I can guarantee. I take breaks because, you know, something taught me that everybody has limits. When I was in secondary school, I run short dashes, 100, 200. I was always coming first. So we needed to run marathon. And we had only one person, and he said, if we can't produce 2 athletes, we will not be able to, you know, my house will be able to compete, bring my house. So they came and told me, you can do it now. I said, I've never done it before, but they say you can do it. So, you know, the girl taught me, the other person, she's very good at marathon. She taught me how to run. She said, you walk first. Cut the long story short, I came third, but I came second. And thank God I was resuscitated. So that day taught me that everyone has a limit. So you need to know your limit so that you don't break down. So since then, I grew up with the fact that if I can do this, do it. But once you know you're getting to breaking point, you need to stop. So these are just expressions of myself. All I do.
I used to